Welcome. In this playthrough of Marvel Champions the card game, we have Ant-Man teaming up with Doctor Strange to take on Nebula in expert mode. So for our villain setup, we have two main schemes. The Art of Evasion, so we're using Nebula 2 and 3 with the expert cards. Her cards, the Power Stone, Ship Command, Standard, and Space Pirates. For setup, we're going to put Nebula's ship, environment, and the Milano support into play. Attach the Power Stone to Nebula, then discard the top 2 cards per player, so 4 cards in this, and attach each technique attachment discarded this way to Nebula. We've got a threshold of 6 per player, so 12 on this, starting with 4, and then for each villain phase, X is equal to the number of evasion counters on her ship, so that's determined there. We want to keep that in check. She's starting with the Power Stone, giving her +1 scheme, +1 attack. Attaching to her, it's permanent. Force response after a hero or villain deals 3 more damage to the attached character with a single attack. Attach the Power Stone to the attacking hero or villain. Then we have her ship. Forced interrupt when the villain phase begins. Place an evasion counter here. Then shoot the thrusters, first player action. Toss the Milano and spend up to 2 resources of any type. Remove 1 evasion counter from here for each resource spent this way. And of course, heroes are starting with the Milano. As a resource, exhaust it to generate a wild resource for any player. Then we have Nebula. Starting with the scheme of 2, attack of 2. First technique attachment, each player reveals each round, gains surge. Force interrupt. When she initiates an activation against you, resolve the special ability on each technique attachment in play. Then choose and discard 1 of those attachments. Coming in with 17 health per player. Then her other form, scheme of 2, attack of 3, same for the attachments getting surge. Here, after she does the special ability, you may then remove the top card of your deck from the game to choose and discard 1 of those attachments. And for heroes, starting with Ant-Man, 4-2, attack of 1, defense of 2. Response, after you change to this form, remove a threat from a scheme. Hand size of 5, 12 hit points. Alter ego, recovery of 3. After you change to this form, heal a damage with a hand size of 6. Then in giant form, 4-1, attack of 3, defense of 3. After you change to this form, deal a damage to an enemy and a hand size of 4 on that side. Then the power of aggression, we've got 2 of those, 3 browbeats, 3 piercing strikes, 3 relentless assaults, and 3 surprise attacks. Probably should have had this in every deck I built with him. If you change form, deal 3 damage, or 4 if we paid using a physical resource. Counter attack, then some allies, Valkyrie, Spider-Girl, Thor, Hulk, and Bug. And for our basics, got our 3 resources, Lockjaw, and a single downtime. So for Doctor Strange, 4-2, attack of 1, 2 defense. So an action, exhaust him to pay the cost of the top card of the invocation deck and resolve the special ability on that card. Hand size of 5 and 10 hit points. Alter ego, recovery of 3. As an action, discard the top card of the invocation deck and hand size of 6 on that side. Got some thin justice here, 2 power of justice. Under surveillance, 3 for justice, then Wiccan and Quake. I've got the bulk of him going basic. Got his 3 resource cards. 2 the power of all of us, Sorcerer Supreme, Helicarrier, Quinn Carrier, Ironheart, Spider-Man, Nick Fury, Mockingbird, 3 spiritual meditations to help us search for the cards we want, and 2 endurance. All right, so shuffling our encounter stack, and we're going to take a look at the top 4 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4. So under fire, advance, a master plan, physical toll shouldn't be there yet, and a gang up. Now officially obligations get shuffled in. A lot of times it doesn't matter, but when they pop out for the villain setup, that does kind of matter. So she didn't find any techniques. So Ant-Man's going to go looking for his 6 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Browbeat, Army of Ants, Resize, those are all keepers, along with Wasp. So we get his helmet, piercing strike, and Valkyrie. Then on this side, shuffle his invocation stack and 7 rings on top. Now we go looking through his stack, hoping there's a cloak in the top 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Sanctorum, Wiccan, Genius, Quinn Carrier. Still some good cards there. Magic Blast for Justice, and his cloak. Alright, we're spending 3 resources to bring in our helmet. Your response after you change to Giant Hero form, heal 2 damage from a hero. To change to Tiny form, draw a card. Well, we are changing to Giant form. Allows us to deal a damage. And heal 2, but we're at max. We'll go ahead and swing for 3. Down to 30. It's going to be enough to get us the Power Stone in our possession. Then we're going to resize, change to your other hero form, and draw a card. So Tiny form, remove a threat. Draw a card from resize. Draw a card from her helmet. Then we're going to play an Army of Ants for in Tiny form, exhaust that to deal a damage to an enemy. Down to 29. And over here, we have the Mystic trait, so we're going to draw 2 cards and choose a card from our hand to discard. So Mockingbird and the Helicarrier. So we're going to lose for Justice. Then we're going to flip over, use Milano to bring in the Quinn Carrier. Play only if we're an Avenger. It's also set to generate a wild resource. We're going to do that along with him. Okay, maybe not just yet. And we're going to bring in our Cloak of Levitation using the Quinn Carrier. And exhaust, spinning a Helicarrier. To choose up to 3 characters that have a tough, we're just going to pick 2. And next up is Vapors. Ready, and then we're just going to thwart for 2. And our turn. We'll keep Mockingbird and surprise attack. So 4 more cards. Power of Justice, Endurance, Energy, and Meditation. And downtime, the Hulk, Piercing Strike, and Relentless Assault. So for Nebula, gets a token on her ship. Brings out 2 threat. She's going to attack for base 2, 5 damage. We lose tough. Attack over here for base 4, lose tough. Counter cards, got a physical toll already. So we're going to go ahead and flip the Alter Ego and exhaust, remove that from the game. Then Insight 1 and Surge. Place an evasion counter on her ship. Did a barrel roll. And Alter Ego form. Nebula schemes. If threat is placed by this activation, place an evasion counter on her ship. That's not good. So scheming for 2. After this activation, all right. Scheming for 2. Threat was placed. Then we take a damage. And pass first player. And I don't think that was a good first turn. All right. Use his ability to pass on the Vapors. Images. Flip and ready. We're going to do some meditating to draw 2 cards, and then discard 1, which is going to be Endurance. Then we're going to use Images using the Quinn Carrier to confuse the villain and remove 4 threat. Then we're going to bring in Mockingbird after she enters play, stun an enemy. And attack for 1. Thwart for 1. Don't want to get retaliated on. So also Milano to remove 2 counters. Then over here, Army of Ants for 1. It's not an attack, so nothing happens. All right, we're going to trigger a bunch of things here. We are flipping to giant form, which is going to trigger 3 things, and we get to choose the order. The 3 things, got a hero response, a regular response, and another hero response. We're going to do this one first, since it's an attack. To change form, if we paid for this using a physical, deal 4 damage to an enemy. So down to 24. We get retaliated on that, taking a damage. After we change to giant hero form, we heal 2. We also deal a damage, which is not an attack, so down to 23. We're then going to bring in the Hulk. He's going to attack for 3. Down to 20. And then, Wild, that's nice. Going to deal 2 damage to an enemy. Down to 18. Then we're going to deal a damage to each character. Down to 17. Down to 11. Down to 8. And of course that puts a damage on him, and then he gets discarded. Then we're going to attack for 4. Down to 13. Retaliated on for 1. And end her turn. 4 cards, Energy, a Bug, Relentless Assault, and Counterattack. And over here, Meditation, our Eye, Astral Projection, Quake, and for Justice. So, attacking, oh yes, we get a token. And that's going to equal 4 threat. Then attacking, lose stun. Then attacking over here. Special is we take a damage. And we can get rid of that. Mockingbird's going to defend for 2, 3, 4. Then encounter cards. Barrel roll again, Insight 1. And another silly counter. With a Surge. When revealed, discard cards from the top encounter deck until a criminal minion's discarded. Then reveal that minion and make them tough, and the villain a face down boost card. So we're looking for a criminal. Down 1. It's going to get tough. She gets a boost. That's got Quick Strike. And after this minion attacks and damages you, remove the top card of your deck from the game. All right. So we are losing the power in all of this from the game. Then that's the first one of those, so that gets Surge. She now has Retaliate again. And we've got a choice to make. Peril. We are resolving this. Can't ask Strange to help us, so we either exhaust a Milano, spend 2 physical resources, or stun the first player. That's easy for Ant-Man. The doctor is stunned. And we pass. All right. Salsa Milano, 2 resources. Get rid of those. Attack for 4. Down to 9. Retaliated on to 8. Flip to small size. Remove. Draw a card. Surprise attack. Use some ants to get rid of toughness. Going to do a relentless assault, paying physical resources for 5 damage and overkill. That's one way around retaliate. So soaks up 3, takes 2 down to 7. And over here, we're going to get spiritual and draw 2 cards and discard 1. Ooh. It's going to be astral projection. We are going to exhaust using that and a resource for the Crimson Bands. This is not an attack. So we stun an enemy and deal 7 damage, which is enough to take down that version. So Schema 2, attack of 3. First technique is still Surge. And after she attacks, we lose the top card of her deck if we want to discard it, and comes in with 40 health. And we've got the winds. So we are going to ready and draw 3 cards. Mystical Studies, Endurance, and Magical Enhancements. We are going to make sure we have 5 cards and shuffle. And we start with Vapors on top. We're going to bring in the Eye of Agamotto, exhaust that to generate a wild resource while we're in hero form. So we'll go ahead and use that. And for Justice, to bring in Quake, and she'll swing for... No, she won't. She'll thwart for 1. Silly Retaliate. Then, yeah, I can't believe I'm doing that. We're giving Ant-Man 3 health. And we're going to flip over and call it a turn. So ready everything. So 5 cards. We're keeping Bug. So we've got a Giant Stomp. We're a Genius. We can resize. And we've got the Power of Aggression. And over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Long, Strength, Power in All of Us, Magical Enhancements, Power of Justice, and Master of Mystic Arts. All right, we get a token. We get 4 threat. Goes to attack. Lose stunned, goes to scheme, lose confused. Get some encounter cards. We're caught off guard. Discard an upgrade or support you control. Well, then Endurance got played at the right moment. Down to 8. And going to give her Surge. Cannot take more than 5 damage from a single attack. Special is to place a threat on the main scheme. And this is a Pirate Lackey with Quick Strike. We're not in hero mode, so not attacking. And pass first player. All right, we are going to heal for 3. Flip over and ready. And then make ourselves tough instead of stunned. And we've got the 7 rings on deck. We are going to bring in Wong. We can exhaust him to choose either heal damage from our identity or discard the top card of the invocation deck, or thwart for 1 or attack for 2. He's going to attack for 2. We are going to exhaust that, spending 2 resources to get rid of these. Then master the mystic arts, using that to pay for it. Pay the printed cost of the top card of the invocation deck, resolve its special ability, then place it back on top of the invocation deck. So we paid for this here. That's going to pay for the 7 rings to spread out 3 toughness. So 1, 2, and 3. Then over here, army of ants. Take out the lackey. And I'm seeing the error of my ways. So this is a hero action. We can do that on someone else's turn. So we're going to hold up on doing that for just a second longer. Let's see, what else is she doing there? All right, we're going to flip to giant size. Dealing a damage down to 39. That was free. We're going to attack for 4. Down to 35. You get retaliated on. Once again, taking that back 1 step. Sorry about that. We're going to bring in Bug and thwart for 1. So after your hero makes a basic attack, heal damage from Bug. So thwarting for 1. Takes his damage. Attacks for 4. Everything's back and good. After we healed or flipped, we healed 2. And we're going to change to our other hero form. Oh, that's free, yes. Change to our other hero form and draw a card. So now we're tiny, remove a threat, draw a card for that, draw a card for this. Bring in the army of ants, deal a damage, down to 34. Bring in Spider Girl. She's going to thwart for 1. Hero action over here. Throw in the 3 toughness. And we'll put that on Spider Girl. So I know I did a couple things out of order there, but it all worked out in the end, I hope. All right, so ending our turn. Everyone's getting 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Strength, Lockjaw, Power of Aggression, Thor, and Pim Particles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Under Surveillance, Nick, Projection, Protective Ward, and Ironheart. All right, we get a counter. Just 2. Oops. Then activating. So we take a damage. And we place a threat on the main scheme. I'm going to lose Magic Blast from the game to get rid of Weapon Mastery. Then she's going to take the attack, which is going to be 3 damage. All right, now activating over here, place a threat on the main scheme. Lose, ants from the game, that's no good. Just taking it for 3, 6 damage, but we're tough. Counter cards, and I will officially shuffle. Don't want to forget that. One thing's for sure with this new set, lots of little things going on at the same time. All right, first card, which is going to get a Surge. She now has Stalwart, and her special ability gives her a Tough status. Then we get discard cards from the top and counter deck till she gets a Technique attachment. That's when I start looking through here and seeing if there's worse things to cancel. Yep, we still have something nasty. So we're looking for a Technique. Found one. Revealing. We've already done our first one. So discard a card at random from your hand. Nope. And we're going to lose Astral Projection. Then she's got Stalwarts now. Again. And Combat Ready. We are going to Protective Ward that one using the eye. And pass first player. All right, her next attack is going to be something. So she can't be stunned or confused. And reduce the amount of damage she takes by 1. So the ants are useless against her right now. So I guess Bug will thwart for 1. Oh yeah, and I guess that first attack would have give the villain an additional boost card. Additional boost card. I don't think that would have changed anything with all the toughness we had going on. All right, we're going to bring in Thor with all this. 2 player from your hand, deal 2 damage to the villain, 3 if we paid using physical, which, hold on a second. I don't want to spend that one. I want to spend these. So we definitely have the physical, dealing 3 damage instead. That's only from an attack. This isn't an attack, down to 31, which means the ants are good. 1 each, down to 29. And since we're in Ant-Man form, we get to draw a card into a surprise attack. Thor is going to thwart for 1. We are going to flip to giant form, which is going to deal a damage. We will heal 2 up to 11. Then attack for 4, which gets reduced by 1. Down to 25. We get no retaliation. Okay. Use the Milano and a resource to get rid of that. Then over here, exhaust. Use the Helicare or Quincarrier to pay for the 7 rings. To pass out 3 toughness. So 1, 2, and 3. Then ready. And we've got the Crimson Bands. Wong is going to heal us for 1. We're going to bring in Ironheart. After we play her from her hand, we're going to draw a card, and she's going to thwart for 1. Getting for Justice. And ending her turn, well, we'll go ahead and I better keep that. We might need to do some thwarting here soon. Thwart for 2. All right, we're done. Ready everything up. All right, keeping surprise attack, keeping for justice. So 1, 2, 3, 4 cards. Another for justice, studies, Wiccan, and the power of justice. 3 cards. 1, 2, 3. Browbeat, Strength, and a Relentless Assault. Pass a marker and let the fun begin. All right. Attacking over here. We become stunned. And if... Well, now she gets tough. And discard a card at random. Losing Giant Strength. Then we're going to lose Giant Stomp from the game. Losing cards. But the tough is going to trigger. She gets an extra boost card. We'll get rid of that one. Now there's an actual attack happening here. So base 3. All right. We're losing tough. Discard a card at random. Those are going to get annoying and quick. No surprise attack for us. All right. Now attacking over here. We've got 2 discard. All right, we're losing 2 of our 5 cards. For Justice and the Power. And we're getting stunned. We are going to lose Sanctum from the game to get rid of a wide stance. Then the attack is 3 damage and we lose tough. Then encounter cards. Sound the alarms. Each enemy gets +1 attack and 4 threat. And a Cannonade. 7 threat, first player action. It's also Milano to remove 3 threat from the scheme. And pass first player. All right, Ironheart. It's good for taking out toughness. You can just see, Stalwart. Reduce the amount of damage she takes from each attack. Never mind. In that case, Wong is going to attack for 2, which means at least 1 damage is coming through to get rid of toughness. Then we're in Exhaust, spending 2 resources to stun an enemy and deal 7 damage. So can't do the stunning, but we can do the 7 damage down to 18. Get rid of the bands. And then we get images. So we will ready. Then we're going to attack to get rid of stunned. It's all set. Pitch a card to get rid of that. We are going to flip over, removing a threat, drawing a card, attack for 1 to get rid of stunned. Use each of those for damage each. And we're going to do 5 damage reduced by 1 down to 12. And attack for 2, -1 down to 11. All right, and that will end her turn. We're going to keep both of those. Master of the Mystic Arts, a Helicarrier, and some Meditation. We're going to draw a card here, Giant Strength, and shuffle. So 4 more cards coming to us. Counterattack, Wasp, Resize, and Lockjaw. So we get a token and 2 threats. Attacking over here, discard a card at random, and then get stunned. We're losing our Meditation. And stunned. Then we're going to remove that from the game to get rid of the wide stance. Then Quake is defending for a base 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 damage coming her way, and she's tough. Okay, attacking here. We become stunned. We're going to remove our pin particles from the game. Get rid of that. Then defending here for base 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then 1 encounter card. Acceleration and shuffling. Okay. So with this nice and shuffled, we're getting 1 more card. All right, the villain attacks you. Ironheart volunteers for this one. So 5, 6, 7, 8 damage. And here, it's going to bring out a surge. Cannot take more than 5 damage from a single attack. Then we get another surge. When the villain phase ends, deal 1 damage to each player. So as first player action, exhaust Milano, spend 2 resources of any type to discard it. Then we've got some lethal intent. When revealed, discard cards from the top of the encounter deck until a technique attachment is discarded and reveal it. It's coming in with 4 threat. So found a technique. It's getting revealed, which isn't going to do anything. We've already had our first one for the surge. This one will do something. Discard cards from the top encounter deck until a criminal minion's discarded, reveal it, and give it a tough status, and the villain a face down boost. So looking for a criminal, found one. Quick strike. After this minion attacks and damages you, remove the top card of your deck from the game. All right, we're going to take 2 damage down to 9. Actually, we take 3 damage because he's +1 attack. And we're losing strength from the game. And the villain gets a boost card. And at the end of the villain phase, everyone takes a damage. And we pass first player. And I hope I'm getting all that stuff right because there's tons of things going on here. Well, these guys are ready. All right, can't take more than 5 damage and retaliate. 2 damage, down to 9. We are going to flip to giant form, which is going to deal a damage. And we heal 2 up to 9. And Bug's going to attack for 1. Down to 7. And not make it. Thor's going to attack for 2, down to 5, and then not make it. We're going to bring Wasp in play. After she enters play, deal 2 damage to an enemy. If you are in giant hero form, which we are. So down to 3, then attacking for 2, down to 1. Then we're going to resize, change to our other hero form, and draw a card. So doing that removes a threat, and we draw into a Relentless Assault. And attack for 1 to get rid of stunned. Then over on this side of the board, we are going to use 2 resources to bring in Wiccan. Wiccan's going to thwart for 1. Then use his ability to discard the top card from the encounter deck for each boost icon, deal a damage to an enemy. So is that going to be enough? 3 damage. That will take out Nebula. So we had a busy board, a lot of places for mistakes. Hopefully I didn't make anything that was major. If so, hey, it's only a game. So as always, hope you enjoyed this playthrough. So please click on the like button below and be sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching.